Hello, welcome to my channel, The Marita Minutes. Today we're going to talk about Love and Marriage Huntsville. If you're looking at the app, it's season 7, episode 10. And if you are counting like this is the second half of season 6, I believe it's episode 25. Anyway, this one's called A Storm is Brewing. Now, we pick up where they left off last episode, being at the dinner of the Fletchers with their family. And I think I stated last video that we really didn't want to see this. I didn't think that it was a good strategy to bring the Fletchers on. I feel like they should have remained the voice of reason for the couples, someone to stay neutral. But I guess they want us to be in their business now too. So here we go. The dinner didn't go as I guess as planned. You had someone storming out. I think it was Lexi, Chris's daughter. For what I could get out of it, she felt like she was always been treated differently from the rest of her siblings. Possibly because she didn't grow up in the house with them. I took it to, based on the information they gave us to work with, I understood it to that she probably grew up in the house with her mom. She didn't grow up in the house with them, even though she came over to be with her father and siblings at one point in time or periodically. But from her perspective, she wasn't treated the same. She didn't get the nice cars that they got. She just never felt, I guess, the same love. If she's equating materialistic things with love. Most children do. Especially if you are a parent that can't be in your child's life as much as you would want to, you feel like when you give them something or buy them something, that's compensating for you not being there. And that's probably where she got that notion from. Well, why didn't I get a BMW? Why didn't I get a Mercedes? No, you gave me this. And I don't know. I feel like I can relate, not relate, but I can understand why she might have felt the way that she did. Anywho, that whole dinner goes left. And it shows how I guess Nell she has patience for other people when she's giving Martell and Melody and whoever else advice on their family situation. Yet when it comes to her kids, she can't tolerate it. I don't know. Maybe some of it's just for TV. Anyway, I don't like them in this light. I don't like this at all, but this is what they want. This is where Carlos is headed with it. So here it is. So long story short, she leaves. Chris runs out and tries to talk with her. And I'm assuming she was getting ready to say some other stuff because that's why he say, "Oh, you just go ahead, go home. You're pissing me off now." She didn't say anything any different than what she said in the house at the table. She said you pretty much didn't come around till she was 28 years old. So she's getting ready to let you know or let the world know that you were a deadbeat. Just saying what she said. He said, "Oh, now you're lying." Why she got to lie about that? Why would she pick the age of 28? You know, I don't know, Chris. Yeah, well, that was the end of that. And so they move on to Stormi and Courtney. They're sitting outside of their home and, having, I guess, a drink. And Stormi is pitching to him that he wants to bring Kiki and Tiffany together to discuss their differences because she feels like they can come together as adults and hash this out. And she makes a joke about giving them a shot so they can, release all their inhibitions and just go for it. And Courtney's like, "Not up in here. You take them down in that pasture. They can do whatever they want down there, but up here, no, it ain't gonna be in this house." And I don't know why she's being mediator or whatever, because have we seen her talk to Melody? Like, what is her issue with Melody? The last time they would get together, it seemed like she was straight up ignoring her. Was it at the cookout? I think she said, "Hey, Stormy," whatever, but she really wasn't saying too much to her. I think they were sitting at different tables and stuff. I don't know what that's about. Anyway, Melanie ain't stunning it. But to make the long story short, going back to their little boring segment, because it was boring to me, she goes in talking about Kyle, who she was brought in as her COO, and that has a strategy to get them out of their low point for their business. Because again, she says that she almost lost everything, house, company, and she looks at Courtney and says, "We built a $40 million business." And I don't know if it was the way they cut this part, but he just looks back at her like as if say, I'm not co-signing that with you. I'm gonna let you say that by yourself." But that's how he looks at her like. But anywho, so she's like, "Well, we did that." He said, "Yeah, you did." He said, "You done, great job." And so she talks about how she wants they're at a point where they should be able to celebrate. And I guess she's also bringing up the fact that she wants to have this party. But anyway, she goes back to talking about Kiki and Tiffany and how Tiffany is a Karen and how um Kiki would probably wipe her up and down the pasture. so so that was into that boring segment. Next we go into Melody and her manager. I can't remember her manager's name, but she says that she's her best friend as well. They've known each other for quite a long time. She knew her when she met little buddy, as she called him. Anywho, she wanted to know why she wasn't at her name change ceremony. And her manager's like, "Well, Mel, we talked about this. I told you I had to go to I think it was her niece's 16th birthday." She said, "I told you." She said, "I thought we were over this." She said, "No, I'm not over it because you should have been there." She said, "Well, I was there in spirit." She said, "I knew it was going to be lovely up here on the hill in the backyard." She said, "I knew it was going to be pretty." And then she said, "Well, maybe you can be a part." This is Melody. "Maybe you can be a part of me finding love again." And her manager looks at her and like, "Okay." She said, "But we're not going to do it here." She said, "What do you mean not here?" She said, "In Huntsville." So then Melanie goes, "Yeah, because I think this could be some international punana vagina." So she got a big tickle out of that. And she said, "We're going to go for someone that could give you, your time." What else did she say? Time. You need versatility. You need someone that's 6'2". We're gonna go for 6'2", a real 6'2". So I don't know. Was it Martell kind that lie about his height? I don't know. I guess he is tall, but I don't know. She said a real 6'2". So I don't know if that was in a dig to Martell or someone else that Melody had been dating. Who knows? But she made it seem like her dating life has been up and down, and will she ever get married again? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, her thing is, I think she's been tainted, not tainted. Uh, it left a bad taste in her mouth. I mean, with all the stuff that she had to endure for so many years before she could rid of him, and she's really not rid of him because they still have to co-parent, you know. So, her thing is, I don't know. She doesn't have a lot of tolerance for stuff anymore. And that I can relate to. I don't have the tolerance either. It's like, if I see the signs, I'm one not to ignore them. So I get that. So the next segment, they go into back to Nell and Chris, and I guess they're in Nell's office, and they talk about the dinner and how it went left. And her thing is she feels some way about, the kids always running to him because, I guess he's more easygoing to talk to. And she says, and even if you give them money, they pay you back. They don't pay me back. And I feel some way about that. And then she said, I always got to have a payment plan over the next 5 years, and then you ain't paying no interest. And I feel like she feels like she's being disrespected, like mom's supposed to give me money, type thing. And I might feel some way about that myself. But her thing is, I guess when they come to her and after she's giving them advice and they do the opposite of what she tells them, her thing is, I told you so. I told you not to do that. And then she says she keep feeling as though she keeps saying the same thing over and over again. Like, you keep doing the same thing over again. And so I'm not going to not say anything. Like, me and you had this discussion, why you keep wanting me to pull you out of whatever it is over and over again. So I get that. Her thing is she's going to be who she's going to be. And if they want to talk to Uncle Chris, Daddy, Uncle, or whatever they call him, she's like, go ahead, let him call you. She's like, 'cause she's done. So the next segment, she's in her guest home, and this is where she's going to host Kiki and Tiffany. Anyway, Kiki gets there first, and she's sweating profusely, saying that it's the methadone. So she's explaining why she's sweating the way she does. That's one of the side effects. However, she likes the effect of the methadone, and she says she wish she had found it sooner. It's the first I've ever heard anybody say that they like the effects of it. But anywho, Stormi and her sit down. They start to talk about Letitia, and she explains to her, me and Letitia been going through this since we were 13 years old, and she really doesn't want anything else to do with her because her thing was she didn't do anything to that girl. She said if she wouldn't even gone to college if it wasn't for her. And she says people don't, the family gets mad when I bring it up, but it's the truth. They don't never want to, acknowledge the truth. And but her thing is, she didn't do anything to her for her to treat her the way that she did in the way that she does. So she's like, she's done with it. So Stormi, I think in her confessions, basically says that I don't know if it was confession or not, but she doesn't like the fact that they are at this point. But Tiffany shows up and she has a baby. Now, I thought that we would see something of this episode, which means to tell me they're going to drag this out. Like, how many more episodes do y'all need to drag this out? Like, they've already had the reunion. The reunion was done months ago. Is any of this going to be on the reunion? Considering that, you don't even, because, with Love and Marriage Huntsville, outside of the show is more exciting than what's happening on the show. And the last reunion, Carlos would bring things that have come up outside of the show. Like that whole thing with the things that would go on in the building where Maurice has his business, and with people saying that they've been upstairs and all this kind of stuff in different rooms and things of that nature, and the little promiscuous stuff that goes on there, right? Allegedly. That stuff he brought up. Now, what is he going to bring up this time? Because we're talking about some of the stuff that's happening in the on the YouTube streets now. That's not going to be brought up because they've already filmed the reunion. I don't know why they filmed it so early if they were going to drag this out 100 episodes. It's ridiculous. Anyway, She shows up and has the baby, and we don't even get into that. So it's said to be continued. Another filler episode. So that's all I got. Please like, share, and subscribe. Leave your notes in the comments, and let's talk about it.